At number four, the fourth greatest NBA player of all time is the great Bill Russell. Welcome to Refuse to Lose. My name is Joe Jordan. I'm your host today. Today we're going to continue my list of the top 10 greatest players of all time in the NBA. And today we are at number four. At number four, the fourth greatest NBA player of all time is the great Bill Russell. So Bill Russell is probably the most underrated NBA player in NBA history. People just gloss over everything he's done. They want to include what Wilt did, what Wilt had accomplished, but they wanted to gloss over what Bill Russell had accomplished. And Bill Russell has done a lot. And what people see, they see that the fact that he averaged 15 points per game for his career. They see the fact that he probably wasn't the leading scorer every year on his team. Because the natural look is you have to be the best scorer on your team to be the best player. All right. But Bill Russell was the centerpiece of the best dynasty in NBA history. So let's talk about his accolades. We're going to dig deep into like what he's done in the accolades, and we're going to dig into some other stuff that you probably didn't even know about Bill Russell. This is why he's fourth on the list. He has 11 rings, 11 championships, which get thrown out the window. 11 championships. Second place is Michael Jordan with 6 and Kareem with 6, right? 11 championships in 13 years. And don't forget, him and the Celtics, they won 8 in a row. All right? They won 8 in a row. So Finals MVP wasn't created yet. So he doesn't have any Finals MVPs. All right. But he did have some regular season MVPs. You gotta know that Bill Russell in his career, he has 5 regular season MVPs. He played in the same era as Wilt Chamberlain. He has 5 regular season MVPs, while Wilt Chamberlain has 4. So Bill Russell was tied for the second most MVPs with Michael Jordan with 5 rings, 5 MVPs, and Kareem number 1 with 6. All right. Now, here's something that you probably didn't know. Back then, right, when Bill Russell played, first of all, period, the objective of the game is to win. So if they had the defensive player of the year, and if they had all defensive teams back then, Bill Russell would be clearly the greatest defensive player in history. But the fact that he doesn't have these awards attached to his name, we don't think about him when it comes to the greatest defenders of all time. Because we think about Wilt when we talk about the dominance, but we don't talk about Bill Russell when it comes to the greatest defenders. Did y'all know in his 13 seasons he played, 11 times he led the league in defensive win shares. 11 out of the 13 times, 11 out of the 13 years he played, he led the NBA in defensive win shares. There was a point when he actually won 10 straight. He actually was number 1 defensive win share for a decade straight. His team was the number 1 defense out of his 13 years, was the number 1 defense 12 times out of 13. Do y'all think that Bill Russell has something to do with that? Yes, he did have something to do with that. But guess what? 3 times in those 12 years when they were number 1 on defense, they were so good on defense because of Bill Russell. 3 times they won a championship 3 times while being the worst offense in the NBA. That has never happened in NBA history. 3 times they won an NBA championship by being the worst offensive team in the NBA, because defense was very important. And the defense was the reason why they won these championships. And Bill Russell was the greatest defender in that era. Probably one of the greatest defender of all time, but definitely in that era. His team held the best record 9 out of the 13 years he played. All right? 9 out of the 13 years he played. And do y'all know, after he retired, right? The year after he retired, the Celtics had a losing record the year after he retired. And the year before he came there, they had a losing record. So Bill Russell was the difference maker. And people always say stuff like, oh, he played with all the Hall of Famers. These guys are in the Hall of Fame because they have 1,000,000 rings. If you have 1,000,000 rings, you're going to be getting the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. You're going to get in the Hall of Fame. This is how it works. So if Harrison Barnes would have stayed with the Warriors this whole time, if he'd have won these 4 rings with Steph Curry as a role player, if they end up winning 6 rings as a role player, Harrison Barnes will make it to the Hall of Fame. He has 6 rings. That's just how it works. So look, this is why I believe Bill Russell, and Bill Russell is arguably one of the most clutchest players in the NBA also. 10 times Bill Russell and the Celtics went into a game 7, meaning y'all know how game 7s work. It's evenly matched, anybody's ball game. It can go either way. The better team will win that, the more talented team will win the game 7, and the less talented will win the game 7. It all comes down to up here, the mental. He's played in 10 game 7s and lost 0 game 7s. He's 10-0 in game 7s, y'all. And in game 7s, do y'all know that Bill Russell averaged 29 points and 18 rebounds in game 7s in the playoffs? Last thing we'll say about Bill Russell is this, y'all. 1968-69 season. Bill Russell's about to retire. He's the coach, right? The team goes 2-3 without him. He said, you know what? Let me suit up and play. Put a jersey on. He plays. He's a player coach once again, as he's been in the previous 2 years, I believe. He's a player coach. They have their worst season since he's been in the league. They won 48 games, which is the worst season he's ever had in the NBA. They go into the playoffs as a low seed. They win the first round. They win the second round. They get to the championship against the Los Angeles Lakers, who were heavily favored. Wilt Chamberlain, obviously, still Wilt Chamberlain. Jerry West, Elgin Baylor. 3 great all-time players. All of them in the top 50 on the top 50 list. All right. So that happened. The Lakers, before pregame, they put on every seat, assuming they were going to win. When the Lakers win, we're going to drop the confetti and the balloons. The balloons, right? And then we're going to play this song. It was a certain song that was going to play, and we're going to interview Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, and Wilt Chamberlain in that order. Casey Jones saw that. He took it. He brought it to his leader, Bill Russell. Bill Russell motivates the team and tell them, listen, the Lakers, they just can't beat us. The one thing we won't let happen is the Lakers beating us. That's not going to happen. And I'm going to look forward to them taking all those balloons down one by one. That's what he said. And guess what? They went into LA as an underdog and upset LA in game 7 and beat them in LA. Bill Russell's last game in NBA, winning his 11th ring. So do not underestimate Bill Russell's career, y'all. Bill Russell was the perfect, y'all. Look, we praise Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan never led a league in scoring. Tim Duncan was the ultimate team player. Bill Russell was Tim Duncan ×2. All right? So we got to put some respect on Bill Russell's name. And Bill Russell is the 4th best player not best. He's the 4th greatest player in NBA history. And that's all I have for you guys. And I'll see you at the next episode. Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.